Anthony Padilla's new video. Spend a day with POKIMANE streaming Under Scrutiny.
By BetterHelp Online Therapy. Visit betterhelp.com/Padilla because sometimes existing is exhausting.
This guy came up to me, opens a deck of cards. He's like, you need to kiss me for me to find the card that you kiss.
My name's Anthony Padilla, and I spent a day with POKIMANE to uncover the truth about how becoming the highest paid woman in streaming has resulted in relentless hate campaigns and purposely misconstrued headlines that have forced her to rethink her entire sense of self.
POKIMANE accused of doing drugs.
The stalkers that show up and harass her directly at her home, and she'll address the headlines about the mental breakdown and the condition that almost caused her to retire. Hello, Poki! I am saying that right, POKIMANE? People say POKIMANE, but isn't your name pronounced Iman?
My name is Iman, so it's the second half of the name, I-M-A-N-E. So it's meant to be like Pokemon, kind of like the game Pokemon. But I totally understand it reads as POKIMANE. So when people say that, I don't correct them. Also,
I just hit my hand so hard with my ring that my pinky is like numb. All right, let's do it.
I don't want to catch a Nintendo lawsuit, so I'm like, I'll go with POKIMANE, sure. That's fine.
Nintendo, please don't sue.
Thank you.
There is constant media surrounding your every single move.
Oh, geez.
There's thousands of articles about you, at least one every single day.
The only time I do know about those articles is when my mom or family members bring it up to me. I heard that you were permanently banned from Twitch. I heard that you're quitting. I heard this and that. I'm like, Mama, you're getting clickbaited.
I have some article headlines here that are very spicy. So I'm gonna read the headline, and then I want you to tell me what was actually going on.
I'll do my best, because on God, sometimes I read things and I'm like, I did that.
POKIMANE breaks down while explaining why she needs to live on a farm. Did you have a breakdown? Did you have a mental breakdown because you need to live on a farm?
I feel bad trapping my cats indoors. I'm like, they deserve to be free,
Yeah.
but within confinement so they don't die.
Right.
So my dream is like to have a farm where they can just roam around, but within, you know, like a
Right.
fenced area. I do attempt to make a funny every now and then. And I'll just, my poor cats, they just sleep on my couch. You know, like I won't actually break down.
Twitch star POKIMANE reveals stunning condition which would have
Someone was an ethical cat lady. Dude, literally just the most normal cat person. I feel like every cat person is like this.
forced her to retire earlier.
What is it?
I don't know.
I don't know either. What do you mean?
She said, if it wasn't for the influx of female viewers, female streamers, and just more diverse community members, I think I likely would have retired from streaming this year.
They made it sound like a disease.
I thought you had a disease.
I was thinking of like pivoting away, but now that I see so many more female viewers, people of color, like different minorities, it makes me feel like it's becoming more inclusive. But I don't think that's that kind of a condition.
POKIMANE addresses rumors of her doing cocaine on stream.
That one is real. Not me doing cocaine, but I did address it. I am very far away from substances. Not in a judgmental way, it's just, you know, not my thing. I kid you not, 6 years ago.
Wait, how old are you?
19. And I was playing around with these candies, and one of them was like a white powder, so I like jokingly cut it up into like haha, you know, like.
Kind of wild that people like literally fucking, people looked at this and was like, oh, that's real. That's like a person. She was literally doing cocaine on camera.
Only circulated after.
I feel like people still, Pepela, sure. Yeah, dude, you're right. You're right. She was doing cocaine on camera. Like, birds, man. I don't know. Okay.
After that like Gideon drama thing where like random people are like, oh my god, look at her doing drugs. And I'm like, this is literally something I broadcasted as a joke 6 years ago.
It was your choice to broadcast that.
Yeah, exactly.
The other day when you had COVID, I thought you were doing coke, Lamau. Yeah.
I'm just like playing around with candy.
Yeah. Dang.
Anyways, I did address that, and I'm addressing it again. So.
And the negativity that you face online isn't just confined to specific
Bro,
moments.
she doesn't even
You've
fucking
had
like drink,
entire
dude. What do you
smear
mean?
campaigns built around you.
Sadly, yeah. Or at least it's felt that way.
Yeah.
But that's just what happens when hating you is profitable. So obviously people will look to profit. Honestly, even for them, they're just doing what produces a successful result in a sense.
Yeah.
So, Pokey and I have like very similar experiences on the internet. Obviously, hers is significantly worse though, because like, I mean, I've said this before. I come across like a simp when I say this, but being a woman on the internet, automatically your situation is like fucking dog shit. I know this from all of my friends who are women that happen to be on the internet. My situation is pretty fucked up, but it's still nowhere near as bad as just like every random female content creator. They have stalkers, Discord groups that specifically are designed around stalking the content creators that that put everything that they do under a microscope, are hypercritical, and it's fucking insane. Like the shit that female content creators go through is absolutely fucking bananas. You guys in this community are aware of the shit that I go through, obviously, like it just times that by like 5. So what else other people do to me, they do to like every fucking woman on the internet, but especially Pokey, because she's like, you know, they treat her like she owns the platform. They treat her like everyone that's banned is like banned because of her or some shit. It's fucking crazy. Going through, okay, dude. I mean, yeah, I have similar and very, very dedicated stalkers as well. Let's not go back to the earlier thing that I just found out, which was that apparently they're like botting all of my fucking replies with like insane shit in my replies, like saying I kill dogs and stuff. I didn't even realize that. It's like so normal. It's so normal to me that like I don't even see it sometimes. And like one of you guys actually told me that it was happening and I found out.
Even if it's at my mental health's expense.
There was one big thing that you dealt with where there was a photo of you and someone took a screenshot of a very specific moment from that video. They were like, let's all attack Pokey for this.
Prior to that no makeup stream, I had done like 3. So when I did it, I really didn't think much of it, but there was a split second where people screenshotted and I looked particularly not pleasing. But you know, that's human beings. Like, put us in bad lighting, didn't sleep well, your hair's a mess, you're gonna look not that nice. But the irony of the fact that that has been used against me so much is that like throughout that stream, like I spoke about how I feel like online there are so many unrealistic beauty standards and not enough people kind of dismantling them.
Within that stream, you talked about that?
Yeah.
And then they did the exact same thing?
I intentionally had my hair like really messy, like did not look cute. And I'm like, yeah, and then I'm gonna make myself look cute.
I don't know, not with me though. I look this perfect all the time, but go on.
We can't all be you. Okay?
And you've had it brought up constantly for 3.5 years?
I mean, it's kind of like any time the incels come around.
Oh.
That's their bread and butter. They're like, look.
Oh, they're coming now.
You're ugly.
See, we proved it.
And I'm like, sweetie, I know I live with myself. I've never had an issue with the way that I look without makeup. Why do you think I was so comfortable putting myself out on stream like that?
When that first came out, were you affected by it at all when people started attacking you for that screenshot?
I felt very confused. I grew up in like the YouTube beauty era.
Yeah.
You see people like at the beginning with zero makeup, like they look very different than the end product, which is fine.
That's part of the draw.
So when I saw people online making a big deal out of it, I was like, that's weird. However, I noticed that long term, whether you like it or not, when something is like thrown at you and people are like, this is a bad thing, it will seep into your subconscious a little bit. I noticed myself catching myself. If I had like hair similar to how it was in that photo, or the lighting was like that and I wasn't wearing makeup, and I would like remember that picture and it would make me feel kind of bad.
Were you ever tempted to change yourself to reflect the positive things people said about you, or to try to negate the negative things that people were saying about you?
When it comes to social media, I feel like we are kind of all being trained to...
You could say brainwashed.
I actually kind of prefer the word trained, because it's like, when you see something performs better than something else, you feel this desire to do more of that. But what if that's not really reflective of who you are or who you want to be, and you're really just responding to what other people like?
You were trained to see yourself in a negative light.
I started sensing like, oh, like why do I feel weird when I see myself like this? Oh, it's because so many people have told me.
I mean, dude, this is like this is how it is with every internet content creator. Honestly, to a certain degree, like I literally motherfuckers have me thinking like I'm a bad person. You know what I mean? For the longest time, I was like, dude, am I like a bad person? Am I like fucking up without realizing it? Or like, are these people, these random strangers on the internet who keep saying I'm a bad person? Are they right? Maybe I'm just a bad guy.
That like this is a bad thing.
Were you tempted to change?
I mean, I'm over it now, but
I
it's just
intentionally
fucked
don't
up.
in those moments. The alternative would lead me down a bad route, which is like, okay, maybe I'm fixing this moment temporarily so that I feel better about myself, but I'm doing this to appease others.
Considering you stream for so many hours, is it kind of running through your head like, this could be taken out of context, this could be taken out of context?
I felt that pressure a lot, and initially it was like, should I be super...
Manufactured consent also applies to the filtered views people receive of you. Yeah, I mean, it definitely does have staying power, and that is something I worry about still. But there was a point in time when it went beyond that, right? Like, obviously, people that do, like, negative PR are people who are, like, diligently trying to spread misinformation about you. And they do it a lot. They do it for Pokey. They do it for me. They do it for a lot of, like... they do it for a lot of content creators. Like, there's a lot of people who just have nothing going on in their lives, and this is kind of like what they do to get their rocks off, right? This is the only way that they can feel like relevant, feel good about themselves, whatever. And basically, like in that situation, there is why is this about you? No, I'm talking about haters propel you, though. Would Pokey even be this famous if she wasn't hated? I don't know why, but Pokey's just always comes off insincere. Her frame grows more with this hate-based style of interview. Why is this about you? Dude, okay, I'm gonna be very positive to you right now. Okay, are you ready for this? Look, my friend, please, like, notice how everything you're saying is negative in the chat. Chatter off the perk. Like, just haters don't propel you. Okay, your fans propel you. And toxicity should not be like an automatic qualification. Like, people unironically think that like on the internet, like they have to tax you. You know what I mean? They're like, we're gonna tax you for your fame by just being as like horrible to you as possible, and you deserve it because hey, sucks to suck, but like you got to that position, you're better off. No, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. XQC biggest streamer and no haters? No, XQC has a fuckload of haters. He just doesn't respond to them. So his fan base, which I assume includes you as well, literally it does not are never aware of it. And not only that, but also XQC has tons of haters, bro. What the fuck are you talking about? Could just not be a dick. Yeah, exactly. Think about someone other than yourself. Seek help. Turn off the internet. Read a book. Volunteer. Think about someone other than yourself. Okay. See, notice how like the moment that I reached someone, the moment that I tried to be as positive as possible to someone and be like, hey man, like, look, you're being kind of negative, and I gave him attention, 10 more immediately jumped in to be like, oh, it's my opportunity. To all of you, if you have the urge to write some like crazy stuff in the chat and think that like you're giving me good advice or whatever, I'm gonna be honest, like you're not. Try to slowly but surely leave a positive attitude in the chat. You know what I mean? When you're in here, try to make sure that what you're leaving behind is more positive. You'll start feeling better too as a consequence of that, I think. There's no guilt for people punching up. I mean, there is a difference between like punching up and punching at the person who is still like completely irrelevant and not trying to hurt you in any meaningful capacity. If anything, like there are a lot of people. Like Twitch streamers are grimy, you know what I mean? We're in the trenches. As far as content creators goes, like we're doing probably one of the grossest ways of making money and doing content. Part of it is literally like we subject ourselves to endless amounts of either trauma dumping, or we subject ourselves to endless amounts of people just being like, saying whatever the fuck in the chat, and that opens the door up to a lot of people who want to take advantage of that. I do it because I want to build a awesome community, and I have been able to do that, and it's fucking dope, right? But also, there's a lot of people that take advantage of that. It is a low rent medium, 100%. But there's a lot of people who take advantage of that and are like, I'm a really sad person. I'm a really sad person personally, and I'm going to take advantage of that and say, fuck the 25,000 other people that are watching currently, right? And I'm going to try to get the streamer to react to me individually by like trying to pick apart like any kind of, any kind of faults or any kind of insecurities that they may have. I'm going to sit here for 8 hours and figure out all of this stuff and then try to use it against him to draw like some kind of reaction out of him. Having said that, of course, it's still, it's still awesome. I'm an incredibly fortunate person. And I'm very lucky. Very, very lucky. I have the best community on the internet. I know my mom told me not to open up blogs.
About everything that I do, but then you're essentially putting yourself in a very small box, and that is not fun. Literally anything can be taken out of context. Every time I wear my hair curly, like so many people come out of the woodworks, like, you requested my opinion on this, didn't you? I want you to know that I prefer your hair when you wear it like this.
Someone implied that you were doing blackface because you allowed your hair to be natural.
They just don't know that I'm Moroccan and Morocco is in Africa, so that's just my natural hair. If anything, throughout my life, I've done the opposite. I've like chemically straightened my hair.
Yo, chemically straightened team, what's up?
Happy to say though, like me wearing my hair curly naturally was probably one of the things that I received the most positive feedback about. And the thing is, that was like one guy who said it, and then people write it in articles because those like very sensational. And then because people will write articles on this one comment, the people who read the articles will think that that is a larger sentiment than it really is.
They think that's a consensus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when it was really just one guy.
That implies that any one single person has the ability to shift a narrative because it becomes seen as the consensus.
But the fact that this is like a article clickbait thing takeaway is just so annoying.
Is there a difference between Poki and Iman?
I make the distinction between POKIMANE and Iman more so as a way to like mentally protect myself from certain things. When people say, oh, Poki is this, Poki is that, I kind of just think to myself, oh, this is just what they think of like Poki and what they've seen of her. And what is she? A collection of moments like in content throughout years on the internet, right? Who am I? A human being with friends and relationships and like so much more that it is impossible for people to fully know that. But that's not to say that I feel like personality-wise, these are two different people, especially because when you're streaming, like, what am I gonna act for 6 hours, five times?
That'd be world class.
Oh, I know, like, give me the Oscar.
Give that woman a raise. When you were referring to Poki and Iman, you said her for Poki, and you said I for Iman.
That has served me a lot, because then when people say things about Poki, I don't take it personally. And I don't think any creator should, because these people don't know you personally. So their comments, therefore, cannot be personal. However, that doesn't mean that, like, I won't...
Yeah, I can't do that, which is probably a problem. So that's definitely an issue. And in a lot of instances, like, that's why the attacks on my character are ones that I do not take lightly. Or my political ideology. It's probably healthy to fucking differentiate like that, but I don't know. It was too late for me. GG's, you know?
Consider what they say or like take constructive criticism, but I at least compartmentalize it to like my stream or my work or like the content that I'm creating.
Use your full name as your internet persona?
Me lying in bed thinking about Joe Smo from Mississippi hating me.
That's something that I think I need to work on as well, is separating the me that people see and then knowing that I am a completely separate person. And I feel like having that username separation there probably helps.
If I could do it again, I would be faceless 1000%.
Yeah. Do you feel like people like to minimize others to their mistakes and they like to see them through the lens of, you are mistake 1, 2, 3, 4, nothing else?
Recently, I did a collab video with Anthony Padilla. He posted a photo of us, and I saw quite a few comments about a past mistake. It just hurts to be labeled as someone who uses slurs when it's something that I am so vehemently against. Like, one of the comments said that I've said it like numerous times, and that's just not true. I've publicly apologized for this instance many times before, but it just feels like my apology isn't able to reach people who hear about this for the first time.
Or rather, no one gives a fuck and they're using it against you because they're pieces of shit. No matter what the fuck happens. Fuck you up when you saw the content creator episode of Black Mirror? No, it's just, it is such a disingenuous thing that people do all the fucking time. They try to, and dude, the hilarious thing is like, this is a random person who's like a content creator, right? POKIMANE is a random person who's a content creator. So obviously, like, her personal politics are not like always aware to people, right? It doesn't really matter. So like Joe Rogan, so I'm going to differentiate between the two. First of all, I defended Joe Rogan apologizing for his past sentiment. But there's a difference between Joe Rogan and POKIMANE in the sense that, like, you know what Joe Rogan's politics are. He mentions them every episode. You know, but the other thing I was going to say is, you know what my politics are. That's literally the only internet footprint I have. The only footprint I have on the internet is me doing politics, is me talking about politics, right? And even then, motherfuckers will literally turn around and still try to be like, remember when you said this? Or they will turn around and fucking clip shit out of context and be like, look, actually, he's like a piece of shit. He's like lying. Yeah, dude, I'm lying for fucking 10 years every single fucking day that I'm on the internet. And you finally caught me in my secret moment. Like, I'm personally trying to make the world as best as I can. And not my, I don't have a lot of power to do so, but like as best as I can to like make the world a fucking better way, a better place for marginalized people, so that like what, more people can cancel me in the fucking future when I'm secretly racist and then like I get exposed for it. Again, it's just incredibly stupid, right? But the reason why I'm mentioning myself in this situation is because like people will do that to even me, and everyone knows what my fucking politics are. I'm a political commentator. So the reason why I'm frustrated about this is because, like, if you can do that to me, someone who does politics for a living, you can do that to any human being, okay? You can do that to any human being. Because the expectation that someone is going to, like, constantly fucking give their perspective on every political matter is a ridiculous one, especially if you're just, like, a regular random content creator, right? That you're just, like, an influencer. So that's the point. And I think that, like, it's a very frustrating thing. It's a very frustrating way to live. It is deeply upsetting when I see people do this and they go, hey, oh my God. Like, remember when POKIMANE says the N-word all the time? I hate that.
The clip is from 8 years ago.
I hate it.
When I was a minor.
It's disgusting. The people that do that are pieces of shit.
And streaming myself throughout that journey makes me hope that I can be like a good example for people changing and becoming more considerate and becoming a better person. I think some people do. Mm-hmm. I hope that the majority of people don't. If anything, I think it is a much better story to be like, oh, this person made a mistake and still was able to learn and grow from it and achieve all these things. And then you can look at yourself. So if I make a mistake, like, that's okay. I can still do so much. Like, a mistake shouldn't define you as a person.
Encouraging growth?
No
what
way.
What? No, you made one mistake. You were that way. That's the only, that's you. What was your childhood like?
I was just like an internet little nerd since I was, especially like 12.
Oh my God.
Maple Story days, RuneScape, any MMO I loved. I quite liked my high school years.
Yeah.
My family and I have always been like very academic centric. Had a huge hobby of gaming, which was like my after school secret life.
Why was it secret?
People weren't into gaming then. It was not cool.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you like one other girl in my high school that gamed regularly. Then I went on to study engineering. I did programming, I did physics, I did chemical engineering, and you take extra classes than normal. That's when I had the mental breakdown.
So you have had a mental breakdown at some point.
Oh my God, if you're in engineering and you haven't had a mental breakdown, you're not in engineering.
Dead inside.
I love maths and sciences, and I wish I still got to do something with that.
What's 14 plus 3?
17. Thank you.
Damn.
Quick math.
Damn.
I made myself have like 2 days of like back-to-back 12-hour classes, and then I would stream like Wednesday, Friday, and then like a weekend day, which kind of worked, but was extremely stressful. So I arrived at like a fork in the road by the end of my second year, and I was like, if I go into my third year, my classes are gonna be so heavy, I will have no time to stream whatsoever. I had like a PowerPoint. I convinced my parents, I'm like, these are my projected incomes.
Wait, so that you would tell them why you're dropping out?
Yeah. You know when you have traditional parents and you want to drop out of school?
You gotta make a PowerPoint presentation.
Yes. Thank God they're like, sweetie, if it makes you happy and it seems like financially it makes enough sense, you could go ahead.
Wait, tell me about the PowerPoint presentation. What did it look like?
Someone said 14.3 Keem's new girlfriend. Stop. But don't stop. But like, it's true. And someone should look into that. But also, stop.
I had to graph my income and show them like these are the sponsorships I had, and so this is how much I've been able to make. And so if I take a year off, worst case scenario, I would save approximately this much money, so at least I would no longer have student debt. I feel like I went about it pretty reasonably.
Yeah.
It was like a calculated risk. If anyone is like, I don't know how to tell my parents, PowerPoint presentation.
Come back here to the comments in a few years and let us know how it worked.
Yeah.
When did you first start streaming?
I was 17, second semester of my senior year in high school.
When did you blow up?
21, 22.
So you blew
Just because you were young doesn't give you a pass, Paula Dean. What? Martha Stewart? Bro, y'all are fucking bananas, dude. Like, what do you want? You want to kill her? Like, what the fuck? She was young and she was dumb. Like, what the fuck? A thing that she recognizes herself. It was like 10 years ago. It's so insane. You know what I mean? When people do that, it's like, dude, do you recognize that like you are literally a crazy person? Like, do you understand that other people probably look at you and go, damn, that's a crazy person? Like, Paula Dean was like 50 years old doing like literally slavery LARP, harassing black people regularly and making them dress up like slaves for a fucking dinner party. And you're making a comparison to like a 17-year-old who said the N-word on stream and recognized very quickly that it was like bad and wrong and has apologized for it like a million times since then. That's like an insane fucking leap, dude. It's just, I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's so fucked up. It wasn't a hard R, mind you. Yeah, exactly. But like, it doesn't matter. It's like, yeah, people, bro, even if she had literally, I'm going to say it, even if she had literally said like the hateful version of that, still, you can fucking redeem yourself from that. You know what I mean? The entire point is not fucking locking people into literally the past version of themselves. This is not like a insane take. This is at the heart of my commentary. This is literally what I advocate for. If you're new here and you didn't know this, like I constantly talk about fucking growth, that you can grow and you can learn from your past mistakes and apologize and you know, redeem yourself. And someone like Pokey with the crime as well that she committed, you know, is 1,000,000% redeemable and has you know, redeemed herself 1,000,000 times over. Motherfuckers were just watching iDubbbz like he's chill, but Pokey, we need to destroy it. iDubbbz, I think, is a great example of this as well. Straight up. And iDubbbz has said way worse shit than POKIMANE for sure. So good faith interpretation. Hasan thinks slurs are good. Yeah, exactly. People will hear me say this and be like, wow, Hasan loves saying slurs, actually. You know? Half the time, people that want to like cancel me are literally like people that were a Nazi last year. You know what I mean? And haven't really even like fully changed their attitude or their behavior on the internet, and they're like, "Oh, dude, we're gonna cancel this fucking guy. Let's bully this guy a little bit. You know, let's find something. You know, anything." It's like, come on, brother. Like, this is what I've been doing for years. Like, give me a goddamn break. We learned already. Yeah, like Keemstar said, I secretly want bad things to happen to black people so I can help them.
blew up after dropping
The
everything
timing
else.
was so good. It was almost like I was on a boat and the tide just happened to really rise. Like, that's when gaming took off.
Was there a moment when you realized, oh, this could be my career?
During my second year of college, there was a month where my combination of like subscriptions, donations, like people were especially generous and supportive that month, and sponsorships, and I made 5 figures in a month. So I made over $10,000. And when you are a college student and you know your college debt is like 30K, you're like, a third of my debt is gone. And when I saw that, I was like, wait, maybe this could be a potential career path for me. Short term, long term, whatever it is, right? And then I started building the PowerPoint, you know?
Yeah, that's when you decided the PowerPoint needed to come out.
Yep.
When the Twitch data leak occurred,
Yeah.
you were referred to as the highest paid female streamer. Before we get more into that, a quick heads up that we actually had Pokey on another episode 3 years ago, and I spent a day with ASM artists. And we have a bunch of other episodes with some of the biggest names in streaming, like Hasan, Amaranth, Tubbo, Rambo, Wilbur Soot, Carl Jacobs, and some upcoming episodes that I don't want to spoil, but Tina Kitten and Niachu. But take that to your grave, do not tell anyone. You could watch those here, sure, or on the completely uncensored podcast version of the show by clicking the link that I hid down in the description below. I bet you won't find it. And of course, a huge thank you to Purple for continuing to sponsor and support this series. And you might be wondering, why am I so excited about a mattress company? Well, let me tell you, Purple mattresses provide incredible comfort while you sleep by
Okay, I'm skipping the ads. All right.
Dia. You'll get 10% off any order of $200 or more. Terms apply. Now back to the world of Pokimane. When the Twitch data leak occurred,
Yeah.
you were referred to as the highest paid female streamer. How do you feel about gender constantly being brought up when noting your successes?
I think games are for everyone. If you're a kid, if you're in your teens, if you're an adult, if you're like a senior, whoever you are, to me, gaming, it's like reading a book. You're not gonna say, books aren't for me. It's like, you just have.
Guys, I have not changed. Guys, I'm not a libtard. Guys, this is not even libtard essential.
He's a libtard.
Guys, I have
Literally a libtard. Straight up.
Haven't found a book you
It's
like.
true.
It's another form of media.
Exactly. And so that's always kind of been my goal, to show people that when I achieve anything and people relate it to my gender, I take it as a win for my gender, essentially. And actually, I remember when I hit 1 million followers on Twitch, the thing that made me the happiest about that milestone was not just that I hit 1 million followers on Twitch, it was that a woman hit 1 million followers on Twitch.
Do numbers affect you? Do you have your view count on?
Oh no. Honestly, at this point I should, but I have it off all the time. To me, I was like, I don't want to treat my audience differently if I have 50 viewers or 5,000 viewers. I think this came from a decision I kind of made when I was watching a certain streamer, and he said something along the lines of like, oh my god, there's only 1,000 people watching, like I'm gonna dip. And I remember feeling like, oh, like I feel bad for all these people watching,
Right.
whose time you essentially just disregarded. There are thousands of individual human beings who
Yeah.
decided that you were worth their time
If
in
you-
that moment.
if
That's
you s-
crazy.
Do you feel
Why are you saying Pepela? Pepela H? Okay, listen. For me, I think like view count. I mean, what she's doing is right, and more power to her. I wish I could. Okay. But for me, view count dips indicate that like the content is getting stale. You know what I mean? The view count dip indicates that like people are just not into it. It's the best, unfortunately, perhaps the only way that you can like make any kind of assessment on something that is otherwise qualitative, right? Or it indicates that XQC went live or something. Yeah, I mean, but that means that, you know, our shared audience, there's still a lot of people who are just like, oh, dude, no, I prefer this content to your content. It's just the truth. Every streamer is like very good at noticing these sorts of things. But I'll tell you this much. I love the types of content that I do. Sometimes like I'm popping the fuck off. And you know what I feel terrible about? Like when I do that, and stop looking for other excuses. Like it's not dinner time or anything like that. Chill. No, it doesn't matter. I'll tell you this much. Like there are times when I have like really good content, like really fire content. And I think it's like really good. I'm killing it. You know, we have a great vibe going, like me in the chat. We have a great back and forth, right? And while I'm doing that, like sometimes I'll peek at the view count and it's like going down. I'm like, damn, like I wish more people were able to see this, because like I feel like this is really good. Like this, I feel like more people would enjoy this. Like I'll have a guest on and it'll be like a fire guest. And like people just don't they're just like, no, I don't, they don't know. You know what I mean? Like, they just don't know. They don't know any better. They're unaware. They've went and like watched something else. They've moved on to something else. So they don't think that like it's going to be good. There's a lot of people who think that like, for example, that when I have a guest over, like they're just not going to get like the one-on-one, the possible one-on-one that they can get from me when I'm in the chat or whatever. And that sucks for me. That sucks because like I always wish like they wouldn't miss out on really good content. Always interesting hearing you talk shop about how you approach varies from other streamers is why I keep it up, King. Yeah, I mean it's just like I'm being very honest about it. Like right now, you think I'm not you think I'm oblivious? Like I went from 33,000 to 24,000 viewers. Like XQC went live. That's probably part of it. And then like other people it just like left. They didn't like what was going on because I wasn't like exclusively talking about something political. And normally there was a point in time when I would you watched the boxing event? Yeah, that's why. But also at the same time, there were other content creators who were watching the boxing event, like Miskiff, where his view count went up. People were like, oh, dude, Miskiff is watching the boxing event. I want to watch the boxing event with Miskiff, or I want to watch this with XQC. And the reason why I'm brutally honest about this sort of stuff, but like the thing is, there is a lot of, how do I describe it? On Twitch, the reality that you don't understand, or reality that like the watchers don't really feel, or even though they are participating in this, is like a lot of people will go with like FOMO. FOMO is precisely what guides people into like picking content creators because they see someone popping off, and you've all probably done it at some point. You see someone like with 100K viewers and you immediately go to that. You're like, oh, what the fuck? There's probably something cool going on there. And that's why the platform is so top heavy. You probably feel FOMO when you see someone else like getting a lot of viewers and you're like, I want to see that. You know, you don't want to miss out on it. Honest criticism, you're hard to watch when reacting to something live. You mute and go off tangents and I miss what's going on. I mean, yeah, because I'm not like, you can watch it live on your own. You know what I mean? I get a sense you're blaming yourself. I do blame myself because here's the thing. If I did better collabs, if I did more collaborations, like I would have more people interested in not just like the fucking political shit, but more collaborations. But because I don't do it enough, people don't come to me for it anymore. Like getting off of LSF was one of the best things for my mental health, but it also made me kind of distant from the rest of Twitch. I no longer know what the fuck's going on the platform. But because of that, and because I don't like give my assessment on what's going on the platform, people that normally would gravitate towards me for things that are going on the platform because they want to hear my perspective on it, no longer come here. So whenever there's something popping off on the platform, I am out of the meta. And people, even if I want to talk about it, even if I want to talk about something that's going on the platform, my audience is not here for that. They are here for exclusively political news. So they literally leave when it's non-political. Like that is a great example of what just happened when I turned on to the meta thing, which was the boxing channel. That's it. Honest comments. Sometimes you focus on negative comments so much it depresses me, so I leave. Yeah, I know. I try to not do that, but if X even gets a whiff that content isn't popping, he dumps it like yesterday's news and that already has something queued up. People trust that instinct. I mean, I have that instinct as well. It's just that, ironically, people complain about you pausing, but it's literally why I think most people watch you. It's for the take. Yeah, exactly. I used to have a more variety-focused audience, and by variety, I mean React stuff. Like, people loved the shit I was doing with React stuff, but then ReactGate happened, and then people literally were just like, only Hasan watches React. Only Hasan reacts to shit, and I fucking despise that. I think. And then they were just like, I'm not going to do this anymore. I don't want to watch him react to shit anymore. I don't know what the fuck happened, really. But I think, like, that was one of the weird things that, like, people just no longer like that as much. Anyway, let's continue with this.
That pressure to constantly either maintain or climb.
After Ukraine chat has been a no-fun zone? Yeah, exactly.
And viewers and sub count and followers.
I think I just do my best to not let it impact me too much, in the sense that if I'm going to make a decision, I take a moment and think, am I doing this because I like it or because it's fun? Or am I doing it for the numbers? Once you cross a certain threshold as a Twitch streamer, your viewership depends on how many hours you stream, I can't be an 18-hour Andy every day. I cannot.
Oh, like Hasan?
Is he alive? Is he
barely,
okay? Someone check on that man.
Do you have fear of losing it all?
Not really.
What the fuck?
If people...
I don't even do it that much anymore. I'm an 8-hour Andy. As XQC is the 18-hour Andy
like,
still.
weren't interested in what I had to say, I would just be like, okay, and I'll just move on and do something else. And especially initially, like when you first start gaining traction, you're like, I could lose this at any point, and you feel like you have to work really hard and do all these things. And I think that's to some extent good for motivation, but long term, you feel trapped in that pressure. So what I did to combat that was just work really hard on my personal relationships. Even if, like, worst case scenario, everybody on the internet decided to wake up and hate me tomorrow. Well, at least I'll still have my best friend and my 2 cats and my family, and like I will go live in that happy bubble, you know, as a human kind of should.
I think it's tempting though to feel like if this starts to fall, my whole life is destroyed. I lose everything.
I feel like a life should be a bunch of...
Do you think it may have gone down because of that too? I mean, the things that are down because... it's not the view count that goes down. It's the subscriptions go down because of that, probably. Like, because the more you stream, the more people are like, oh yeah, I want to subscribe to this guy. But that's it.
And your work should be a pillar. It shouldn't be the only pillar.
The less pillars that you have in your life, the more that each one becomes
the end all be all.
A scary thought of what happens if
everything
this one
will fall
collapses.
apart if you only have one pillar, of course, yeah.
Don't worry, election's coming soon.
What has been your most bizarre
I think
fan
people just don't care. I feel like there's a sizable part of the audience that only comes for Twitch for the commentary and doesn't care or know anyone else on the platform. That's how I was at first, yeah. And then they actually start liking other content creators on the platform, and then they're like, yo, fuck this politics shit, I'm done. Yes, I am going to be doing this. I'm going to be doing this next week. We worked so hard on this. I'm excited to see it come together. I'm going to beat fucking Sear and Rich W. Campbell's ass, dude. Me and Myth, we are going to fuck them up, dude. I don't know how to cook at all. I don't know how the fuck this is going to work. I feel like you just try to have intention with the content, whereas others just follow for full content brain. I try to do both, though, because I think meta chasing is good. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, like, especially because, like, meta chasing is the reason why I get... Okay. When I chase metas, or when I don't know, I don't really do it ever, but, like, if I were to, or when I do react streams, or when I do collaborations and stuff like that, fun stuff, one, it's good for my mental health, so that's better. But two, that means more people are more open-minded and more charitable to what I have to say when I'm talking about politics. And the entire purpose of, the entire goal for me is to get people to have an open mind to my brand of politics. So that's it. That is precisely my goal. And all that other stuff that I do serves the purpose of said goal. And part of the problem is that part of my brand is about like likability and having people be like, oh, the left is not about like fucking being woke, scoldy, and boring and being no fun as fuck. There's more to it than that. You can be a leftist and be fun and have fun. And when people are, you know, purposely creating this image of me that's like I'm a bad person, it fucking sullies that. So many people who are supposedly on the left, like a bunch of clout chasing motherfuckers, have very maybe deliberately or maybe indirectly without realizing have ruined that, which sucks. Because they actively are fucking bombarding me with like, he's stupid, he doesn't know anything, he's just bad, he's just like fucking and you know, we should cancel him. And it almost like creates this environment where people on the outside think that my audience is like that.
Interaction.
This guy came up to me. He's like, oh my God, Pokey, do you want to see a magic trick? And I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love magic tricks.
Okay, I'm scared of where this is going, but continue.
Opens a deck of cards. He's like, pick a card, any card. Okay. And he's like, all right, now kiss the card. I was like, okay. And he's like, put the card back in the deck. And he starts shuffling. You know how they shuffle?
Just like that.
And then he's like, all right, now I will find your card. But you need to kiss me for me to find the card that you kissed.
Okay.
And sorry, every time this happens, I feel kind of cool. But
deal with it.
Deal with it. Obviously, I didn't do it.
Oh.
I was like, well, you think I did it?
Wow, so disappointed.
You think I did it?
Yeah,
you think I'm that easy? No.
Of course.
But I had to give him props. I was like, you had a creative idea behind it. Okay.
Have you dealt with any super creepy? Any like stalkers?
I've received so many scary texts if someone finds your number and they're like, we're gonna send someone out to essay you, to do this, to do that. I'm gonna find your family. People have said the worst of the worst thing, and that's why I have 3 different phone numbers. There was a guy who showed up to our neighborhood and was just like walking around looking for us. And he came across my roommate and he was like, oh, like I know you. You need to take me to Pokey. Like,
Bro, this is actually wild. I mean, look, all I'm gonna say is a lot of content creators experience stuff like that. Admitting it is wild, honestly. Like straight up. There are plenty of opportunities where people are like looking for quotes or whatever, and I'm just like, nope.
We're meant to
Because
be.
like it honestly, I think it's horrifying. All I'm gonna say is it's a lot worse than you would think. And it's kind of wild that she's admitting to it. Like it's brave, almost a little crazy, but it's her prerogative. You know what I mean?
I came down here for her. My roommate texts us and he's like, this guy is like walking around looking for Pokey. I remember when I first
All I'm saying is just because you don't hear it from me doesn't mean it's not happening, or doesn't mean it's not happening to other content creators. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I'll tell you this much: acknowledging them emboldens them.
and I didn't know what was going on. Like this random guy is walking around our neighborhood and he flew down here from somewhere to find me.
And he's asking for you by name.
I was streaming at the time. I ran to my door, I locked it, and I streamed all night because I was like, if this guy finds me and tries to do something scary, at least, I'll be streaming so people will see what happens.
At least it'll be documented on the internet forever.
I know. How kind of crazy of me, but I try to do what I can to have like reasonable security precautions. If I'm gonna live in an apartment, it's a place with like 24/7 security, with like front door service, without a fob, like things like that. That's why I haven't invested in like real estate or looked into really getting a house, because that's like a commitment. And what if that house address gets leaked? You're done for.
Yeah.
So I just move lease to different places.
You have to be ready to pack up and move if
Exactly,
if your
yeah.
number or address
Which
gets leaked.
sucks commitment wise, but
Yeah.
the security is kind of worth it.
Dating.
I am a 25-year-old who's interested in people.
Whoa,
sometimes.
wait, you date people? I've
Fucked
seen
up.
articles that are like, oh, Pokey's dating this person. Is she dating this person? Why would she talk about her dating
I'm
life?
dating them all.
People want to know about your dating life. Do you purposely keep that separate?
I
I feel like this part literally ties to all the previous parts. If you're a Twitch streamer, you just can't fucking, it's not happening. You know what I mean? You just can't ever be open about that sort of shit. I never understood that on the other side. I never actually understood that when I was not on the platform. And let me tell you, it's just people are fucking psychotic.
had seen so many instances where people would try.
Yes, being a streamer is fucking awful, dude. Yes, it is awful. I don't know why people don't understand it. We are incredibly fortunate, but we get fucking shit on by everybody, dude. Which is funny. Like, people used to shit on YouTubers, right? Because YouTube was the most kind of fucking access that you could have to a content creator. So people were like, yo, fuck these guys, or Vine or whatever. Now, there's no better way. You can get real-time access to motherfuckers in the chat. What about when a Twitch streamer is dating another Twitch streamer? Dude, that any other kind of fucking circumstance, all of that should be kept private. Even when streamers bring this shit up, all like, fuck you, you're rich, like you can't have problems. Dude, I'm telling you, people compare themselves to streamers. So they're like, well, it's much fucking, my life is much worse than a streamer. At least the streamer is like, you know, rich or whatever the fuck, right? Except you should be comparing streamers to other content creators, like other people in other facets of entertainment. But they don't do that. And that is kind of inherently the problem here, because then you're like, well, obviously, yeah, you do deserve stalkers and people that want to fucking kill you all the goddamn time. Whereas, like, people in Hollywood are like significantly more isolated than that. To be honest, you could say that about billionaires, but yeah, dude. But do you not understand that? Do you not understand the difference between a billionaire and a fucking Twitch streamer? Do you not get that? The amount of exploitation you need to fucking engage in to become a billionaire is like not even like that's, dude, you're talking about a person that like has a career with a fucking shelf life where they will make a lot of money at the top level, at the top, but a career shelf life of like 3 years max where they burn out and fucking kill themselves. And you're literally comparing that to a billionaire, dog. You're fucking insane. You think you have this level of access to fucking Elon Musk, dude? You think you can like literally tell Elon Musk like, dog, shut the fuck up. You're a billionaire. Like you can write it in his fucking, Twitter DMs or Twitter messages or whatever. He's not going to see it. And also the way that he fucking made that money is drastically different. I only ask because there are 2 small streamers who are dating, and the way the internet's been reacting has been kind of weird and gross as you imagine. I don't want to know, and I don't know. Parasocial delights at parasocial ends. There was Noah Colwyn made a joke. Friend of the show, Noah, made a joke. I remember Disguise talked about a stalkers creating a Discord and actively stalking him and his girlfriend at the time. Shit sounded incredibly scary. Never want that shit. Yeah, that stuff is like so normal too. But like, dude, motherfuckers think that like Twitch streamers are billionaires, dude. Anyway, friend of the show, Noah Colwyn was like, dude, why would you think like any celebrity would be on the platform with us? Like we're mentally ill. And I was like, yeah, I say that all the time. It's something that I joke about all the time. And I responded to it foolishly. And immediately motherfuckers were like, dude, yeah. I mean, they proved exactly what I was saying. Where is it? Let me see if I can show you. He said something along the lines of like, why would any celebrity be on this platform? Oh, celebrities aren't on Twitter because we are, lol. I said, why would any celebrities subject themselves to anonymous stalkers telling them they know their lives better? And immediately the responses were like, there was astute observers definitely know things about you. You're unable to see yourself. That's the nature of putting yourself out there. Like homie came in hot to prove exactly what I was saying. You know what I mean? Like no celebrity's gonna fucking put up with that. Only. And then I got botted, apparently, 156 fucking responses to this. All of them more psychotic than the first. But point proven immediately. Like, immediately point proven. And have some shame. I think, like, we as a society are unwell. We are deeply unwell. And entertainment and a sense of community and a sense of shared purpose can be really positive. And I try to be as positive as possible. But it can be really fucking reactive and damaging and really awful. And what I mean by that is like, because we are as a society like deeply ill, we literally fucking look to whatever we can grab onto and make changes in that and try to shape it in a way that we see fit, or like basically turn any opportunity into like just like harming the other individual almost in like incredibly toxic ways, turning that into our own version of content. It's just so crazy. Like so many content creators are just literally playing the role of a fucking therapist. So many content creators that are accessible are playing the role of like a daycare provider, playing the role of, a punching bag. And people will say, dude, just do and say whatever you want. Forget those people. I do that already, but it still seeps into, my what I'm trying to do. It's just funny because like people literally like normal people that aren't on Twitch all the time who don't think that like this is normal will look to this from the outside and basically go, dude, this is insane. Like Grimes, a person that like lived on a riverboat or whatever, like literally a person that has 2 children with Elon Musk looked at what I was doing and was like, this is mentally ill. Like you have a mental illness for doing this. Like you're not normal. That was fucking Grimes, dog. She's so not normal. It's like a part of her brand. She's like not normal for Hollywood celebrities. And she said that. And she was right. She was right. We can't see it trapped in our bubbles because like this is just our existence, right? But in comparison to every other facet of entertainment, it's like this is probably the most like in the trenches. Would you rather only be surrounded by positivity and people saying you're always right then? Yes. The answer is yes. I would much rather do that. Like obviously not. You can also disagree with me, but just like do it in a normal way. There's a difference between like, hey man, I really disagree with the way you said this, and being like, you're a fucking bad person and I think you like kill homeless people on the side for fun. And now I'm actually going to go and tell other people that because I think that I hate you because you banned my other account for saying something equally as deranged. And people think that like, they're holding the content creator accountable. You know what I mean? That's the other part. Where they literally will be like, I'm doing this, and I'm doing this because like I'm holding the content creator accountable. You know what I mean? It's not. You're not doing that.
to accredit a female streamer's success to their male partner in the industry. Like, yeah, that's just this person's girlfriend. And I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna date anyone publicly ever, so anything that I do accomplish cannot be accredited to anyone else but myself. And now that I've grown, it's become more so like kind of a different issue where it's like, I am so in the public eye, even if I were to be in a relationship, that person would need to be okay with also being in the public eye. And that's a lot to ask of people. Maybe someday I'll feel comfortable enough and I would need to make sure that my partner doesn't care too. Like that's a big question mark in that regard.
What is next for Pokimane?
Lenny Crumb.
You got a little crumb?
You can't date Normans when you're a Twitch streamer, because you're literally opening them up to like doxing and harassment campaigns because people can't hold themselves, can't control themselves. You can't date another content creator because then you have like two psychotic fan bases that are working in unison with like shipping and shit like that. And that's it. There's just no one. When you're a Twitch streamer, like, again, there is a low cal component to it, so it just sucks. That is definitely a bummer. But what are you gonna do?
Feed me, mommy. You're not mommy.
Actually, you're hungry, so
I am pretty hungry, so I am saying feed me, mommy, to someone, but it's not you, I promise.
I did start a channel called Iman, I-M-A-N-E, where, as I said, I just like post whatever. And I feel like this is something that no matter how involved I am in like streaming and gaming, no matter what, this is an outlet for me to like connect with people and kind of showcase myself. I recently started like a management kind of firm.
For other streamers?
We help guide them through the process. We help events, experiences, all of that.
What is it about doing what you do that brings you the most joy?
Since day one, it's always been being able to connect with other people and being able to feel like you make someone happy or that you can be a positive influence on their day. It's like there's something so gratifying about that. It's like it's because of those people and they really uplift me so much. Like the kind of sweet messages that I receive, just I've cried over those.
Cleaners,
I
thank you for the
spent a
podcast
day
subs.
with Pokimane. One thing that really sits with me is the importance of establishing multiple pillars to form the entirety of who we are, rather than reinforcing the idea that our entire
Dude, this is literally the reason why, like, yeah, the money's good, but the reason why I do what I do is literally the impact that I have. Whenever I talk about this all the time, whenever I see people out and about, I go to a restaurant and you know, as soon as I sit down and I see someone, I see one of the waiters like looking at me, I'm like, I know that's a HasanAbi head immediately. Or, you know, the hostess, or I don't know, just like random people throughout the day, right? That's it. That's why I do it. When I talk to you guys in public, that's when I am reinforced in what I do. That's when I remember why I love what I do. When I see you guys out at fucking picket lines wearing merch, or just like out in picket lines in general, you don't have to be fucking wearing my merch when you're doing it, but like that's just an immediate and very clear indicator, you know? When I see you guys talk about how you're the president of your fucking YDSA chapter because I got you to go and join the DSA. Stuff like that is really, really, really important for me. That's the reason why I do it. That's the reason why I do what I do, regardless of the insane amount of hatred that I might get on a daily basis. But it's not even that bad right now. When you start the Ferrari, you feel better. See, like that's a really small. Yesterday's stream at 1.25 speed and skipping is so much better. When I open the door to my house, when you start the Ferrari, you feel better. Yeah, dude, that's why I already said it. Like I already said that, like, yeah, the money's great, but it's not fucking worth like being routinely harassed like this. You know what I mean? It's not worth. You don't know, like, you have TV in your name, which implies to me that like at a certain point you want to become a Twitch streamer. So let me tell you something. I just in TV. Let me give you a little bit, okay? Maybe one day you'll be a very big streamer. Maybe one day. Don't make fun of him. Don't make fun of him, chat. No, man, this I used to just be called Justin TV. Okay, regardless, a lot of people want to, but the point is this: the money is good. It's just not like you could be making a reasonable amount of money with a much better mental state. And even then, I already mentioned that. Like I already mentioned that. I said, yeah, the money's great. I'm very fortunate. I'm an incredibly fortunate person. I'm an incredibly fortunate person. But even then, the real reason why I do it for 8 fucking hours, 9 hours, whatever the fuck, is because the things I just mentioned, because of this community. I want to make people feel not alone. That's my goal. I want to make people that live in red states. I want to make people that feel that live in red states, that live in fucking blue states, wherever the fuck, that are surrounded by other people that have like reactionary attitudes or whatever, feel less alone. There are people like you out there. There are people that have a different way of seeing the world, an empathetic way of seeing the world, and one that actually sometimes even gets angry, that hates conservatism, hates reactionary people, and I think it's pretty good overall. I think that, you know, a great amount of success in that front. That's my goal, and I think I achieve it. So.